Well, would you look at that? Gosh, 2 minutes before Joe Biden gets sworn in as the president of the United States, Maricopa County is preparing for a new audit of election results. They're finally going to comply with the subpoenas. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Okay, first and foremost, regardless of what they find in Arizona, it will have no effect on what happened with the election. First and foremost, okay? The only thing that could happen is that this lays the groundwork for brand new legislation in order to secure the next elections, okay? In all actuality, Trump is done for 4 years, okay? There's nothing we could do, okay? And that's fine. Everybody's pretty much realized that. I think his crispy old hand on the Bible and staring off into the sunset like John Roberts' face is the fucking sun pretty much put any hopes of Trump in office to bed. So, but let's take a look at what they're finally going to do. And this will be brief because I think that it's totally fucking useless and it's highly, highly, highly illegal. But you know what? Arizona's doing some good stuff, and I've been a proud supporter, the state level GOP there, because they've been absolute shitlords on social media and they've been 100% behind getting to this point. And it's just so funny that now that everything's all done and dusted, oh boy, it looks like we better follow those subpoenas because we are law-abiding citizens. The Maricopa County Board of Supervisors is preparing to release election material to the Arizona Senate in response to its subpoenas so that the Senate can perform an audit. Yes, after all the damage has been done. Hilarious. The supervisors said in a statement on Wednesday that they will continue to negotiate with the Senate on how to respond to the subpoenas by adhering to them. How about that one? Well, Senate President Carrot Fan put out a statement on Wednesday that said the Senate and supervisors had come to an agreement. The announcement of the potential agreement comes the day President Joe Biden was inaugurated, and the legal battle between the supervisors and the Senate has lasted more than a month. Yeah, because the Board of Electors just didn't want to hand over the counting machines. Plain and simple. That's all there was to it. So here's what they're going to get. The county will provide images of ballots. Good enough. Okay, they were all done on machine. We know exactly which machines those are, and I'm not sure what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not allowed to say on YouTube, so you know the machines. You goddamn well know them. And yeah, you just have your printout from there anyway, so that's fine. An audit will be performed, including a logic and accuracy test on a random sample of tabulation. We've already been here. They've already done a random sample and showed that a whole bunch of them were screwed up. I remember the percentages. Remember, it was 2 out of the 100, and then it was 0.5% out of the larger 1,300 or 2,600 sample. It was still beyond a certain margin that would have required a certain type of audit, but now we're going to get it after everything's been done and dusted. This is incredible. The audit will only examine material related to the 2020 election. Yes, because there's no point in looking back at the 2018 election because nothing funny happened there. The auditor will be certified by the United States Election Assistance Commission and will have access to a random sample of desktop servers and routers in a way that wouldn't disrupt county operations. What the fuck are they planning for? There's no elections until there might be some runoff elections at the end of the year or some emergency elections, but nothing's supposed to happen until November of 2022. So I wouldn't imagine that'd be disrupting anything. But you know what? Trying to figure out what the fuck happened would definitely disrupt county operations, I would imagine. Only authorized parties would have access to data or materials provided by the county. Oh, great. Who's going to decide what the authorized parties are? This is just sounding like such a fucking farce. The parties will work together in good faith. Where have we heard that one before? To resolve issues arising during the audit. Yeah, the supervisors declined to confirm the terms of the potential agreement. The Senate first issued 2 subpoenas to the supervisors on December 15th after repeatedly calling on them to complete an additional independent audit of general election results, even though the routine audit the county conducted went flawless. No, it didn't. That's just a lie. That's a lie. You can go back and take a look at all of the videos that I did on Arizona specifically after the election and up until whenever they stopped adhering to the fucking law. And it shows that random samples were not producing flawless results. Thank you, Agitprop Central. The subpoena gave the supervisors 3 days to respond and produce a voluminous amount of material for the general election, including images to all mail-in ballots, detailed voter information, and machines used to count votes. And what did they do? Not listen to them, because they're allowed to break the rules. Instead of responding, the supervisors sued to stop the subpoenas, saying, see, they sued for emergency injunctive relief, and as we learned, you need the judge to decide that in order to not interfere with previous contractual obligations like we've seen with Parler, and that's the exact same thing, but it depends what your politics are, and then you can just break the rules however you want. The supervisors asked the court to decide whether they had to respond. Of course, yeah. We broke the rules fair and square. Do we have to respond to those mean people in the Arizona Senate? What? I'm sorry, couldn't hear you. We got the machines turned on. We're deleting information. Potential agreement reached regarding the subpoenas. Just adhere to them. More recently, though, Supervisor Chairman Jack Sellers authorized attorneys to negotiate with the Senate, according to the county spokesperson Fields Mosley. That is not a real name. If there is a final plan, oh boy. The board will vote on it, Mosley said. There is a final plan. You got the subpoenas for it. Fucking, this is so dumb. Anyways, I won't bother you guys with the rest of this, but looks like the Senate's going to get the information, and if they find anything, it's not going to directly affect the current president and current vice president. At most, if this goes off throughout the entire country, and we won't have any sort of widespread investigation into the 2020 election, because we already know that it's the most secure election in history, and don't you dare question it. So the only thing that this can do is prove that there was something a little bit funky about the general election, and then use that as evidence to push forward with new regulations to make sure that things like this don't happen again, that widespread mail-in voting doesn't happen anymore, and the secure drop boxes fuck off and go away, that you only have early voting and emergency voting, absentee voting on very special circumstances. Not special like the people who are operating this, but very extenuating circumstances, let's put it that way, and then everybody else can vote on election day like it is written in the Constitution, not election, 3 or 4 months. But while this is totally useless and just a complete and utter fucking dog and pony show, it could go a long way in pushing forward with new laws, because that's the only way that we avoid this goat fuck in the future. So I'm optimistic that something's going to come out of this, and if we hear anything about this audit, I'll be sure to cover it. It's not going to produce anything in the short term, but in the long term, it's important to establish a track record and build evidence for the future. So that's all for today, guys. We'll figure out what the hell is going on tomorrow, because I'm sure Biden's going to be signing a bunch more destructive stuff that probably will affect many other countries around the world, because, yeah, his failures cannot be kept within his own borders, and we've seen that today. But enough with the dooms. You guys have yourself a great morning, a great evening whenever you're watching this, and I thank you all for taking the time to watch this stuff, because I appreciate everybody watching this stuff, whatever platform you choose to watch. And hopefully Parler's up soon so I can talk to a whole bunch more of you guys. Anyways, I thank you all very much again for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.